Hi there, I'm Ian Berry. Welcome to this video blog. It's about a pathway to personal accountability. Now, as with all of my writings and work, what I say is important, yet nowhere near as important as what you hear yourself say to yourself, and then do your own unique work. As we go through these slides, the idea is that you will just think of one action that you will take next. There's going to be lots of options, but try and put all those options aside and just zero in on the one thing that you might be able to do next. The context for these video blogs is this model that comes from my Appreciative Leader Handbook. It's really the basic model for all of my work. It's about building workplaces that are known for where employees feel valued, they live values, and they deliver value. Now, those things are driven by leadership and management and culture, and they're about applying proven principles in your own best way. One of those principles is accountability. Another is making sure you get a return on investment and involvement in your leadership development. Another is everyday innovation. Another is understanding that remarkable is the new normal. Today, all about personal accountability. As I say, a principle, a proven principle that you can apply in your own best way. Today, just choose one thing as we go through several options. I like this accountability ladder. It comes from the folk at Blue Sky. And you've probably seen this model or a model similar to this before, but I like the steps above the line. It's about acknowledging reality. It's about owning it. It's about finding solutions, and then it's about making it happen. And today, this blog is looking at each things that you can do in each of those four areas. Firstly, to acknowledge reality. This is a wonderful saying, I think, from Steve Faber. He says, accountability has become that thing that people desperately want other people to take. I'm sure you can relate to that in your workplace. On screen is a change process that I take through to help people to become accountable. First of all, it's about appreciating what is, then it's imagining what can be, it's creating a quantum leap, it's taking that leap, getting some momentum from the leap, and then continuing the process. And in case you may have forgotten, often people think of quantum leaps as a huge jump, but in reality, they are, in fact, a very small change. The key is that they're a direct jump from here to there. And as I've written about and talked about before, one of my favorite quotes from Eckhart Tolle, stress is caused by being here and wanting to be there. Now, appreciative leaders are experts at taking quantum leaps. They see the big picture that's way out there, but then they focus on those tiny shifts, those very small jumps from here to there. One of those leaps is centered around people management, which I think is a very old concept. It's a hangover from the Industrial Revolution. Today, we're actually looking at new systems. Now, the father of the quality movement, Dr. Edwards Deming, he said that our prevailing system of management has destroyed our people. And I think nothing could be further from the truth. And so one of the quantum leaps, the one action that you might consider, is moving away from this old control kind of management. Seeing human beings as resources and assets and capital, I think, is one of the biggest mistakes we've ever made in business. We're not those things. We're actually human beings who feel and think, which is supported by a lot of research. You know, we're actually willing to change, but the facts are we're not prepared to be changed. Even the great father of management, Peter Drucker, was onto this, half a century ago. He said, people don't want to be managed. The task is to lead people. There's become I call it the holy trinity of management. It's about planning, organising, controlling. Well, I think there's a better way. The better way is about being a human being. It's about feeling and seeing. It's about doing things in collaboration. It's about evolution. And sometimes it is about revolution, always about change, and sometimes it's about innovation. Recently, I reread the great fifth discipline book, I highly recommend it if you want to have an update or get familiar with this concept that everything on the planet, everything we do in the universe is connected. And Senge talks about 5 things. He talks about mental models, and when you download the slides that you see here at the link below, you'll be able to go and have a closer look at this, because one of these things might be your one thing that you're looking for to make a shift from where you are to where you could be. And I very much based my 5 steps to remarkabilizing your workplace. I very much based it on the thinking and the research that goes behind these things in the Systems Thinking book. 21st century management is not about controlling people. It's actually about processes and practices and policies, procedures and systems. Lots of books reflect this idea. I just put a couple on the screen there for your consideration. Self-leadership has replaced the old organizational management. One of the great books to read on this is the book Reinventing Organizations by Frederick Laloux. Is there an app for that? I could perhaps see you saying, well, there's certainly some processes that you can take through, and there are many digital ways that you can reflect on your management and change management to being more about what we do rather than the old way, which was all about planning and organizing and controlling people. So who will you become? What will you do next? This is an opportunity to reflect in what I've just explored. What's the one action that you will take next? Now, it might be in owning it, whatever it is. I think all change is personal first. Relationship change is second, and organizational change is distant third. And for those of you that have my Changing What's Normal book, you'll know that the book was divided into those 3 sections. And the people that I work with are the 1 in 100 who believe this process. To be or not to be really is the question. Shakespeare got it right. And this above all, to thine own self be true, is the only answer. Changing yourself is about understanding that your intention, which is another word for purpose, is what you must own. Then you must own your feelings, your thoughts, your actions. And if you align all those, the outcomes will take care of themselves. Relationships follow the same 5 processes. The fertile ground is in how we make contact with people. The ploughing is in the emotional connection we make with people. And the seeding is to do with common ground, or as I often refer to it, as shared view. And commitment is the nurturing. That leads to a continuity of relationships. You want to change the effectiveness, the value of any relationship, you might need to modify or change one of those things. And then finally, looking at this whole process, I call it compete with yourself or collaborate. 2 sides of a coin, 2 different things, but they may be in this owning it, in this increasing your level of personal accountability. They might be the one thing that you would choose to act on to move from where you are to where you want to be. It might be organizational change. And there's a number of tools that I'll put at the link below this video that will help you to do that. And again, to choose your one thing. It could be in the area of enhancing your gifts, a wonderful concept introduced to the sporting world by my great mate, Terry Jenner. Pictured there, you see the coach of the great Shane Warne. Terry's idea was that Shane had a gift that was to spin the ball, and his idea was not to coach Shane, but rather to be his mentor and to teach him to enhance that gift. I think this is a profound insight into leadership. In fact, I think it's the number 1 role of leadership, to actually help people to identify, unleash, and then enhance their gifts. So who will you become? What will you do next? This might be an area, this area of owning it. This might be the one action that you'll decide to take next. Or it could be in this area of finding solutions. No better way, I think, than looking at this idea of shared view, where your view is important, my view is important, but our view, that's the higher purpose. It's our view that actually really matters. And in organizational life, as I explore in the Changing What's Normal book, but also in the sequel, the Appreciative Leader Handbook, I think there are 7 areas where the most successful leaders stand out in organisations. Firstly, it's about where you are now, or reality. It's about where you're going, or possibility. It's about why you're going there, which is to do with purpose. It's about how you get there, which is to do with strategy. And it's about who will do what and when. That's about execution. Then it's about milestones and lead measures, how you know you're on track, but also how you'll behave along the way, which is about culture and values. And on the screen, and you can download it at the link, is a little diagnostic that you can do to check out where you are in each of those areas. I think you must be remarkable today in at least the execution of the phase of these 7. But I think the day is coming, if it's not already here, that if you want to sustain a remarkable workplace, you'll actually need to be remarkable in each of these 7 areas. But for now, you've at least got to be remarkable in execution. So who would you become? Is this an area where you could choose one action, create a quantum leap, and move from where you are to where you want to be? What's the one action you'll take next? Finally, it might be in this 4th area of accountability of about making it happen. What normally happens in organisations is pictured on the screen. We go along, the status quo is reigning, a problem comes, and straight away there's a dip in performance. And what happens in 9 out of 10 organisations is the problem gets solved, and straight away performance is back to where it was before, the status quo. But in remarkable organisations, when problems occur, we don't seek to solve the problem. What we do is seek to take the opportunity to innovate and therefore move to a new level of performance. Just this simple equation that you see on the screen is one way that will set you out from most of the rest. As I say, most people, when problems occur, they solve the problem. It returns the performance to the status quo instead of taking the opportunity to innovate. Usually 4 steps. We take the information and we work out what's the insight. You know, these days you can get information anywhere you like. You just Google it, but information is no longer important. What's important is insight. And that it's turning that insight into inspiration and turning that inspiration into ideas and choosing one and then changing what's normal, which is another way of describing innovation. It's changing what's normal. It's moving away, shifting away from the status quo. So 4 areas. We've quickly gone through these, and obviously you'll need more time to reflect on things as you review the slides at the link below and some of the other things I put there for your contemplation. But I believe that personal accountability is usually one of these 4 areas: acknowledging reality, owning it, finding solutions, or making it happen. The idea of today is to give you these insights so that you can choose to take one action. So who will you become? What will you do next? What is the one action that you will take next? Make it a stretch goal. Make it something that will take you out of your comfort zone. But only think about it in the context of being a quantum leap. So you might think about a big change you want to see that's way out there, but the whole idea is to forget about that big picture and come back to today and just decide one tiny yet significant shift that you could make. And then it's about taking on board the wisdom of Yoda, who said, do or do not, there is no try. So don't just play with this. Make a decision, choose one thing, and do it. You might put it in the context of it's staying with something that you're doing, just doing it better. It might be stopping something altogether, or it might be starting something new. But the key is pick one thing and turn it into a small yet significant quantum leap. What will you do next? Maybe there's some ways I can help you. There's a couple of links that I put below for that. The key, though, do your work. You're a unique, one-of-a-kind human being. There's never been another person like you. When you do your own unique work, magic really does happen. I look forward to seeing you next time.